So we are all ready for the match between Calcutta and Rajasthan, as the first over is secured with 1 run and 0 wicket, with Archer bowling nearly at 95 kilometers an hour. So first over, 1 run. And once again, the team from Jaipur have done exactly what they were not supposed to do. They have won the toss and have decided to bowl first. Will that make a difference in the context of this tournament? Well, we'll know very soon. I can't tell you anything right now what will happen. Anything is possible in this match right now. As we get ready for the second over, first over goes without much of trouble. Second over to be bowled by Ankit Rajput. So 7 balls, 1 run. Slow start by Calcutta so far. So let's see what can the batter do. Yes, the ball has sped away to the boundary. Remember, even if Rajasthan have chased well in this tournament, that's a six in fact. Replays confirm it's a beautiful hit for a six. Yeah, that's a six. So we have to understand that Rajasthan's bowling hasn't been that great. They won just by a margin of 15 runs against Chennai, and even against Punjab, they were chasing over 220, means their bowling hasn't been of the best quality. So if once again they have to chase T20, 220, then that this ground will not be a 220 ground. That I can assure you. This will not be a 20 200 plus ground. Anywhere between 180 and 190 will be good. We saw yesterday how Hyderabad defended against an almost arrogant Delhi side. I think the same fate will come to Rajasthan, because it's the arrogance which tells them to bat first. And if they lose, they might lose the way Delhi did yesterday, in that almost arrogant manner which is so prevalent nowadays. It's just that attitude which says, let's bat first. Let's bowl first, in fact. But a long way to go. Let's see what happens in this match. 10 balls, 10 runs. The Ryan on strike, who has pulled this away but no run. So they'll be looking to cramp him, bowl the short deliveries, as is the bowling plan to this guy. But if he can get going, if he can get those 40 runs with 20 balls, that would be a very, very huge achievement as far as Calcutta is concerned. So the last ball of the second over to be bowled by Rajasthan. Narayan decides to pull it. No runs, 2 overs gone, 10 runs, 0 wickets. 9 from this over. So a long, long way to go in this match. And I said anything goes in this particular style of match. Anything is possible. How many runs can Calcutta get? Well, that will depend on a lot of factors, but if they can get anywhere between 170 and 190, that will be a good score. For that, they have to score at least 60 in the first 6 overs, anywhere between 50 and 60, or let's say 55 and 60 in the first 6 overs, and then probably send someone like Owen Morgan at number three. That will give them that boost because they have a couple of good batters. Who should come in number three? Owen Morgan. Unatka to Gill, who smashes this down the ground. It was well fielded by the bowler at mid on. Usually these balls miss the fielder who doesn't do much and it goes away for a boundary. So it was well defended by Uthappa, who was a former player from Calcutta. So this is what is unexpected. Usually it hits the fielder, it ricochets away for a boundary, and this is one of those unexpected moments that happened. And I think this should happen more. He saves 3 runs for his side. Otherwise, this would have gone for a boundary, and he would have said, "Okay, it's the predictability factor which comes into play." But let's see what happens. 13 balls, 11 runs. Narayan swing and a miss. So he does what he is going to do. Swing for the fences, play that baseball style of sport, and it defends no one really. This time, once again, Ryan tries to play a big shot, takes a single, so he's not thinking much when he is hitting. He's just playing it blindly as he is not supposed to do. But that's the way sport is played, and that's the way we have accepted the way sport is played. So let's see what happens as we get ready for the 16th ball of the match. Not cut to Gill. Single taken, 17 balls. So far, a quiet start for Rajasthan, Calcutta, CKR, Calcutta Knight Riders, or Kolkata Knight Riders. Not cut to Narayan. Will Narayan try a big shot again? Yes, he does. This is a top edge, and this could be a wicket early in the match, and it's a drop. Could you believe that? It was a simple chance for the fielder. Did the lights influence the fielder who was standing at straight mid off as the team management and the backroom staff look on? A slower delivery, perfect. Narayan tries to go for his big shot. He knew he was gone. It was the ball was in and out of the fielder's hand. And you can see the disappointment on the face of the captain and the backroom staff, the locker room. Gill plays that away. Still not a bad over. Four of it, three gone, 14 for zero. So we get ready for the 19th ball of the match. It will be Ankit Rajput. And that's wide. You could have called that a no ball as well.
It's 1945.
As we get ready for the 19th ball finally, this time Narayan plays that away. He pulls it away powerfully. It was a good effort in the deep, but the ball has raced to the boundary, and the first shot which Narayan connects and he gets a boundary. This time that's played away over the fielder, and this has gone. So that was a replay. It could have called that a difficult chance in the context of the match, but if this guy scores 40 runs of 20 balls, then it's goodbye for the other team. He's done his job. That is what exactly he's supposed to do. As we get ready, as Shubman Gill has smashed this away the boundary for 4 runs, and confidence is sneaking back in as far as Calcutta is concerned. Strange that there are so many under 19 players over the last 2 years, the 16, 18, and the 20 World Cup. If we ignore the one before that, Gill, Priyam Garg, Abhishek Sharma, they're all part of that. The Junior World Cup in 20, and Gill, we all know, the part of the winning Junior World Cup as Gill faces Rajput for another ball. He decides to play this time, pulls it away, but this will be defended and they will come back for 2 runs. Well done. 3.4 overs. Ryan plays it away but doesn't get too many runs. 3.5 overs, 25 for 0. A good start, a slow start, but a smart start nevertheless for Calcutta. This time tries to hit big, misses, and a precious dot ball. 4 overs gone, 25 for 0. A decent start, you would say so. And now let's talk about a certain subject. Well, I'll talk about it very soon. Maybe not right now. Let the game get exciting and then I'll jump in with that topic. Or maybe I'll jump in next time. I'll keep you updated. First, let's analyze this entity called drop catch. Well, catches have been dropped from the moment this sport was played. They have been dropped for years, for decades. The best of fielders whom we employ as fielding coaches have dropped. But now the involvement of the production staff is so much. The clarity of the camera, the HD cameras, the multiple camera angles is so much that what is in such a way that 20 years ago the same drop catch would have been missed by the cameras and everybody, but now you have a camera in almost every part of the ground. The replays that are existing, and then there is so much. Of course there was time before also. The only difference, I'm not saying that it's a good thing or a bad thing, I'm just saying that drop catches have been here forever. Now the only difference right now is it has nothing to do with the modernization of the sport. There is no modernization here. It's been the same. You start slow, you hit in the end, you get to a certain total, you defend a total. If the other team chases, well and done. If you defend well, that's well done. Teams have been winning tosses and chasing for decades. I'm not surprised at this. This time Narayan plays it away and this will land into the out of the ground into the top tier. And this is exactly what he's been sent for. Do the job. Hit those fours and sixes. Make sure that when the other batters come, they come with that confidence. So as I was saying, the idea of drop catches is not new. Catches have been dropped for centuries. The best of the fielders, our favorites, the Ricky Ponting, Jonty Rhodes, so many others whom we almost bow down to, they have dropped catches. They will never admit that. This time that's played away, gives room to himself, beats the cover fielder, and plays a graceful shot for 4 runs. So, as I was continuing the idea of drop catches, now, thanks to the multiple camera angles and other such technology which has been added, drop catches are now becoming a discussion. They were not a discussion that much because the production team didn't have the replays to show. Now they have the replays to show. Slow motion replays. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? That's not the discussion. And this time he swings and he hits. Narayan probably he's done his job. So he hit a one few too many inside edge into the stumps, and the drop catch may not prove to be expensive. Though this was an expensive over. It happens. You hit a 604, next ball, you're gone. Another slower delivery. Narayan tries to hit as he's supposed to do this. Maybe he could have been smarter, but he's not been sent to do the smart thing. He's not been sent to say that you play the entire day. Time is a luxury in these situations. So Narayan has done his job, slow but got Calcutta off to a decent start. 4.5 overs gone. It's 1 for 36. We all presume that we all look at a few people with such puppy dog eyes. Oh, these people cannot do any mistake. They are the best. And yet, when the same group made their debut 25 years ago, nobody took them seriously. I'm telling you, nobody took Tendulkar or Ganguly or Dravid or any of these retired players seriously when they came for the first time. And suddenly, when they retire, we give them this almost veneration, divine status. We give them this divine status. Oh wow, look at them. World Cup winning captains, part of World Cup winning teams, four-time captains, four-time World Cup winning captains. And let's discuss the idea of role models. It's almost funny to me that we take a certain professional group as role models, and that's all over the world. All over the world, we take either the actors or the sports athletes as role models. We almost give them the status that They are supposed to lead by example, not knowing that whatever they are doing for a livelihood, whether they are promoting a brand or they are doing something for a cause, it's all for publicity. We're not supposed to take them seriously. They are nothing more than earning a livelihood. That's what everybody does. Because they are in the limelight, we expect them to be this perfect human beings, that they cannot make a mistake, that they cannot say something which will hurt us. And if, if they do something which hurts us, but why should it hurt? Why, if the group that we see as role models, why do we expect them to be perfect? Or why, if they do something wrong, if they make a mistake, whether it's in their professional life, in their private lives, or any other situation, why do we get hurt? That is what bamboozles me. They do what they are supposed to do, they earn their living, they retire, they go off and they finish their job. We can take, there are so many examples. I won't go into details, but I'm sure my listeners are getting the idea. They're not, you're not supposed to, and therefore this whole idea of fans bambles me. Why fans? I don't think they care about that. I think even if when they announce something, even when they announce a certain thing that they're doing this or they have done something well in their personal or professional life, they do it because they are hungry for attention. That's what they do. That's what they are paid for. Everything they do is paid for, whether it's a personal thing, a professional thing. For example, if a sports person, let's say, uses cuss words, we say it's wrong. Why? Because children are watching and they adapt. Well, the ones who think that we should follow them, they are the gullible fools. So if the sports person use the cuss word, I don't think if they show their aggression, they have to do it because that's how the sport is made. They are supposed to do that, whether it's sports, whether it's in other professions. That's what they are supposed to do. They cannot be leaders because we don't meet them, we don't know them. What they show on the camera and what they do off camera are two different things. What they show on camera is acting, what they do off camera is something that we cannot predict. We don't know what they do off camera. Whatever they do off camera, we are not supposed to get excited. They do the job and they go away. So let's not get too carried away. If these professionals do something wrong, if they have done something wrong, they will get the appropriate, they will be given the appropriate thing, whether it's punishment, reward, whatever. But why should fans, if so suppose there is an individual whom people follow and this person does something, let's say, obnoxious. What is obnoxious? That's decided by the fanatics or by a group who has nothing better to do than follow them. They do that, then people start unfollowing them. So one day this guy has 1 crore followers, the next day he has, let's say, 50 lakh followers. So doesn't make a difference? I don't think so. So let's not get carried away by this idea of role models, because role model is an oxymoron. They are, that's how it is. Let's not take whatever they say on pseudo media seriously. Even when they are doing something, it's all publicity stunt. Nothing is for a cause, nothing is not for a cause. It's the way it's the way the thing works. It's all about livelihood. It's all about getting promotion and paid, and that's the way it functions. So let's not get carried away. Let's not feel bad at if a certain individual did something wrong. What is wrong? What is right? That is relative. That is subjective. Let's not put this in a bubble or in a box as we get ready for the fourth ball of the sixth over played away by Rana. And a very good over so far, 2 runs and three dot balls. So Tom Curran is into the attack, one of the all rounders in the team, if we can designate him that. Right now, everybody is an all rounder. You score 50 runs, you take 4 wickets, you're an all rounder. For example, let's take that Steve Smith, David Warner incident which happened. Did they do something wrong? Maybe. But it's no sport is a sport of gentlemen or ladies. A sport is supposed to be aggressive. There are no ethics as far as is concerned, and this is cut away beautifully. He beats the point and the first boundary for this batter, and this over has now gone for 6 runs of 5 balls. So I did not see the logic of suspending them. But it's in the past, they were suspended. It was a lesson for them. But if you think it's a lesson for future, there is no lesson for the future. Things don't work like that. It's all subjective. The same reason you watch a movie or a TV show, even if there's something to be learned, there's nothing to be
It's
learned from it.
20 hours.
This time he tries to cut away, but nicely fielded by the keeper. So the first 6 overs have been completed, and they will possibly go for that unimaginable time wasting. Okay, they have not yet gone for the timeout. So as we get ready for the seventh over of this match, an interesting start by Calcutta so far. So a spinner getting an opportunity, possibly the leg spinner of the Gopal or someone. This time that's played away powerfully down the ground, one for 43. People keep asking, this XYZ person is my role model. Well, that's subjective. Why is he a role model? Because he says some great quotes? I don't think that works. But we as human beings, as gullible fools, love quotes. Even I do. You can't help it. But following somebody and the fact that you follow somebody on pseudo media, and when that person, let's say, he doesn't say good or bad to something, an incident that has happened, that's like fine. That person doesn't say anything. It doesn't mean that he doesn't support that particular thing as a beautiful delivery, completely back of the hand, googly, I suppose, completely missed the bat by an inch. He was on the back foot, which means the spinners from the other team will also have a good time. Let's see what happens as the leg spinner bowls to Rana, who pulls it away, and but it will only be a single as the fielder was in. It's almost as we expect these pseudo celebrities, pseudo role models to give their opinion on everything. If they don't, then we it's a presumption that they are not supporting or not against that particular thing. That is not the way it works. What even hu- what what even humorizes me more is that we talk about privacy. There's an entire debate on the definition of privacy, and then a certain group lays out everything in front of you on these pseudo media sites, whatever they are doing, private, personal, professional, whatever. And then you have a certain group who has nothing more to do, whom we have labeled as trolls, Then they just get into that troll mode. This time, shot pulled away. Good over for Calcutta. 7 gone, 1 for 52. 10 of the over. So a decent start by Calcutta. At this rate, they would get to 150, which would not be enough. Looking at the arrogance of the other side and the batting they possess. So let's get cracking. 7 overs, 1 for 52. As the timeout is somewhere around the corner, I think timeout may work for a lot of reasons. It's a break for everyone. Even I get a break of 150 seconds. Maybe it's a win win thing for everyone. And if the match ends up late, why bother? That's their problem. The organizers have to pay extra if the match goes, let's say, half an hour, 40 minutes extra. As this time, a part time bowler has been introduced, and the first ball has been smacked deep into the ground for a beautiful six. But then maybe he's not a part timer. How do you say who's a part timer? Then let me give you the names of part timers once upon a time. Jesuria, Carl Hooper, so many of them in the ancient era. This time, cut away, no slip. Will this be cut off? Yes, it will be cut off. Nicely done, but they will come back for three. And this is turning out to be a very good over and maybe not a smart decision, or maybe this is one of those decisions where he protects a certain bowler who will bowl in the last few overs. So, but if this guy picks up a wicket, brilliant move. If he goes for 15 runs, not a good move. So, how do you analyze this? How do you judge this? It's very difficult. I had it's very difficult to judge this. So far, 9 runs from 2 balls. As Gill gets a single 10 runs from 3 balls. You must have often heard these players say, I grew up watching this person. You got nothing else to do. But that's the irony being being pronounced a role model and whatnot. This time swept away, but only a single. So smart field placing, but overall this is a very good over. Just that life that was needed, as it happens often. You need just at one opportunity to get life in your match when the match is dull, when you think the other team is almost sleeping. So 2 runs, 13 of the over. As I said, if they get between 10 to 15 runs, this will give that injection into that rather dull start by the team. And of course, how long can these two carry on? It will be an interesting prospect. As we get ready for the final ball of the over, that's flicked away towards long on, mid on. 14 of the over. It's 1 for 66, and they will have that unnecessary timeout, which will be a win win situation going further. It's time for a short break. I will be back very soon. We are all ready for the final 41 balls of the over as Calcutta has lost a couple of extra wickets. So 4 for 106. And a couple of big wickets. And now the best combination has come. Owen Morgan and as we get ready, there's a bit of a break, and this is what as a single is taken on Morgan versus his country mate who is bowling nicely and will be the difference between the two teams. So for me, it'll be very interesting to see as to how this thing happens. Run rate is good enough. Of course, he's bowling over 150, but then what is 150? It's subjective. The speed of 150 is subjective. Well, Archer bowls to Russell, who backs away, takes a single, and this is turning out to be another good over. And the decision to give him 2 overs right in this point in time has worked wonders for Rajasthan so far. As we get ready for the last few overs of this match, this is an important moment for Calcutta, as this is the partnership that will take them to the place where they are supposed to be. So going at 7.5 runs per over, if they can get to 160, 170, it will be a very good score according to me. They don't have much options. As Russell pulls this away, and this has disappeared into the vacant stadium for a six. Third six for Russell, third or fourth probably. No, he's already exploded. This is that over in which he'll explode because, well, though the bowler is good, but he's not bowling at 155. And they will have to save Archer for the last few overs, which allows someone like Russell to do the job in the remaining few overs.
It's 20:45.
Well, as we were getting excited about Andre Russell hitting fours and sixes for fun, he has been dismissed as he tries to go for the big shot, tries to go over point, gets an outside edge and a good catch taken by the fielder at third man. So it's 5 for 115. So 14.2 overs, 5 for 115, and Rajasthan have put themselves in a very good position. And Calcutta are struggling a bit. This one's a wide. At this rate, at best, they will get to somewhere between 140 and 150. And once again, the same mistake being made by the team. So let's see what happens now. How many runs can? Well, bigger ground means that any total between 150 and 160 will work it out, because the other team will have to be very careful that they cannot hit six and fours the same way it was being done. This time that's pulled away, good bouncer takes a single. So 5 for 117, 14.2 overs. How many runs can Calcutta get? So it was one bouncer for the over. It probably hit his helmet, and so far 9 runs have come off this over, and only two balls have been bowled. So it's Patrick. So I think they are sending the physio to check out the helmet. It hit him flush on the top of the helmet, which is just above the visor. And when these things hit, they stay hit. So a bit of time being consumed again. Since there's a break in play, we'll discuss something very soon. But this can happen only in cricket. You get hit on the hand. You get hit on whichever part of your body, the physio comes, the medics come running out as if it's the end of the world, and so much time is wasted as they check for any injuries or not for the batter. Well, I do not agree with this, but that's how it's supposed to take place. What can you do in this situation? Probably a bit of a concern, as you can see in the locker room. Single taken, and another all-rounder, Patrick Cummins, comes at number 7. Well, this is probably the last batting pair which puts a lot of pressure on Owen Morgan. And the decision to send him at number 6, well, they sent Russell at number 4. That was always a debate which had been going on for decades. Should he come at number 4? Should he or should he not? Can Russell do what Pollard did? As he bowls a single taken at this rate, if they can even get to 160, it will be a good effort because they were doing well. And then those 3 wickets in the last 5 overs for 30 runs means that Rajasthan have put themselves in a slightly better position. But that's too early to say what will happen. They also have to chase a certain score. But can't predict. They could get out in the next 5 overs for 120, 130. As Cummins bowls, who tries a swing and a miss, ends the over. Good over bowled by Rajasthan. It's 5 for 120. As Tom Curran comes into bowl, who's also a decent bowler, to his captain, who, who wants to take a single, but the run rate now has fallen just below 7.8, 7.9 something. It's a basically a dilemma. If Rajasthan can bowl well and restrict the runs, then so can the other side. If they can get to 155, 160, it won't be easy for Rajasthan to chase 150, 160. We have seen teams struggling to chase that score. We saw it yesterday. What happened? This time Morgan tries to force a shot, but there was protection over there, and they come back for 2 runs. At this rate, get to 160, 165. Can they do it? Of course, they can do it. They have two very good batters there, the all rounder and, of course, the semi captain of the team. Anything is possible at this point in time. Always be a behind time. This time Morgan flicks it away, but nice field set by one. Yeah, well, I've seen excellent field sets, excellent fielding setup. Well, you have been here for 12 years. You have to do something different. You can't be following that same trend again and again. You have to show that you have improved. And of course, that extra 6 month break, it allowed the teams to have a strategy and shows a strategy by the teams. Yes, you can look at that 6 month break as something as which is not good for the players. They're coming after a long time, but I think that's over. They've been here for a week. Each team has played on an average of 3 matches, and the England team has had the most advantage who have been playing since July. So I don't think that can be an excuse, especially for the England players, as they come back for 2 runs. Well done. Good running between the wickets. Every run will be crucial in the context of this tournament. I can understand Indian players not getting that match practice or whatever we call it, but other teams, maybe not South African, but there are not too many South Africans in this team right now. And let's not include the retired players, but the England team as a whole, whoever is playing right now, 95% of them have played international matches. If we see since July, this time Patrick Cummins plays it away smartly to give the strike to Morgan. So as I said, you cannot say that they haven't played. They have played in this environment, no crowds, the bubble and all that thing they have to follow. Even the West Indies 20 over domestic tournament happened. Lots of players were playing there. But if you say that the players haven't played before this, then I think that's poor work done by the people who are involved in talking about this. If you disregard those tournaments, then I think that's utter nonsense. You have to say the fact that, okay, I can understand the situation of the Indian players because they were bound by archaic rules, not allowed to step out the house for 3, 4 months. That's a different story. But other countries allow them to play, matches were played, domestic tournaments were happening, something was happening. So you cannot say that we are coming after a long time. That at least not for the England team, especially who play that balance view. So that doesn't work for me. I don't agree with that excuse. Indian players, I get the excuse, and this is played away for a single, 16 gone, 5 for 127. The last four over this match, and Archer has been given
It's
another over
21 hours.
to, as they say in this sport, to kill the game. Is his last over, which means that if the score, let's say, 7 runs and don't lose a wicket, it's a win-win for Calcutta. If Archer picks up a wicket, it's a win-win for Rajasthan. And if they can just play off this over as would be the plan, as the captain knows it, then they can attack the other three bowlers. This time Morgan comes down the track inside edge and only a single. A run per ball will do it. They will get to that 130 and then they can attack the other two fast bowlers. And of course, there will also be a spinner involved in this. So 23 balls, half a run per ball, 40 runs. If they can get to 160, it will be a good effort. Yes, it's not easy to score, though we won't know what happens. We will know what happens very soon. This time, played to third man, smartly played, not taking any kind of risk. As I said, it's a very dicey situation. You don't take risk, you don't allow, you don't score. But if you don't lose a wicket, you take a run per ball, which means you then allow yourself to score of the other bowlers who are Unadkat, Karan, and Rajput. They're also good bowlers. Let's not discount them. This was a situation which could have been a brilliant one or it could backfire if they get to 160. This time that's played away, good bouncer. Will they come back for two? They will not come back for two. So 3 runs, 3 balls, and if Rajasthan go on to win, he will be the player of the match. So right now, and another discussion on that. Why do they say man of the match? Why can't they say player of the match? This time picks up the slower delivery. And has he beaten the fielder? Yes, he has. He's beaten the fielder comprehensively. And now 7 from this over and good batting by, well, the top all rounder right now. We thought it would be cut off, but at the deep extra cover boundary, at the deep cover boundary, if you say so, but it sped away like a tracer bullet. And 7 from this over, no wickets lost, win-win for Calcutta. This time, same delivery, plays it away for a single, 8 of this over, turning out to be a very good over for Calcutta. Good over in the context that they haven't lost a wicket. They have these two individuals there who haven't scored runs, but they know that you get to 160, 165, you have put yourself in a very, very good position. But anything can happen right now. What can happen right now? Anything can happen. Archer to Morgan, who cuts it away, and this has been deposited for 6. And now this has turned out to be a very good over for Calcutta. 14 of this over so far, 5 balls to go. And this was presumably, it was a great effort by the fielder, but it's dropped. It was the momentum which took it away. 14 of this over, and maybe they'll regret it in times to come. We don't know. Once again, going overtime, are we? Yes, we are. We're going at least 15 minutes overtime as always. How do you analyze that? If you ask me, so Tom Curran comes, now they can, now this partnership has come into that zone of confidence, a bit of smiles in the locker room. You can see that as Curran bowls to Cummins, who plays it away and gives the strike to Morgan. And they're already at 8.2 runs per over. They score half a run per ball, they get to 170. Which will it be a good score? Well, whether it's 2020 or 2040, it will be a good score. We can see, had this been Sharjah, there would have been 200 for 1 right now. So you see that difference. As it's an English affair. Curran to Morgan, wicketkeeper Butler. Full toss, played it away, and this has beaten the fielder comprehensively. Another boundary, and an Australian captain saying, "Why are you bowling like this?" So the runs are coming thick and fast for Calcutta. Once again, a bit of a full toss. He was trying the slower ball, which turned into a full toss. Could have easily been a waist high full toss. And so far, an excellent partnership between 29 of 22 balls. And as we come for the third ball of the 18th over, this time it's played away for a single. Smart batting. Take the singles, give the strike, and keep rotating the strike and make sure that you get to that score. So let's equate catches dropped with other sports. Catches dropped will be that's cut away over third man, and that's okay. That was a replay. Sorry. This time it's flicked away for a single. So as I said, how would you equate drop catches if I don't agree with the term drop catches, but let's go with the term right now. How do you equate the term drop catches in other sports? It's like missing a goal in during the shootouts, it misses by an inch, or if you are not able to defend the ball when the ball is near you, or best in it's like giving a free hit. This time smashed away, play down the ground, single. It's 5 for 149 after 17.5 overs. In sports like football, hockey, basketball, it's like missing a crucial goal, or like the it's like an own goal almost, because the defenders are expected to defend the ball, the attackers from the other side are expected to bamboozle the defender. You're supposed to play chess and not this time pull shot. Will this be taken? And it has been taken brilliantly, and the fielder may have hurt himself while taking the catch. It was a good effort. You're talking about catches being taken, catches being dropped, and this is almost a goal being saved, a full flying goalkeeper taken at the fine leg boundary. It was a good bouncer by Tom Curran. That would have easily gone for a boundary, top edge, and a great effort by the fielder. Because had he dropped this, it would have gone. He fell hard on his back of his head. Well, that's how it is. So the question arises: should the fielders also start wearing helmets? And so should the fielders, like a wicketkeeper, start wearing gloves? I think yes, at least gloves in one hand, like hockey, especially baseball. In baseball, they all wear gloves. I think yes, they should start wearing gloves. Maybe not helmet, but at least gloves. They should be allowed to wear gloves. Is it cheating? No, it's fair. It's absolutely fair. I think they, since we are copying everything from other sports, why don't we introduce gloves? And that would be something very, very different. So 12 balls to go. At this rate, they will get to 160. Not a happy 160, but a decent score of 160. So Rajput to Nagarkoti, who has taken a single, and he will give the strike to Morgan. As 150 comes up, which is already, according to me, a very good score. It will be a close match, another match which could go in the proportions of a super over. Anything can happen in such matches, as I said. Let's not get too carried away and too excited. So the final 11 balls. Morgan bowls, cuts away to third man, takes a single, and that's good. Well run. And Nagarkoti on strike to Rajput. And this time he beats the mid-on fielder and straight into the long one boundary for four. Important runs for the Calcutta team. They're getting close to that score which they can defend successfully. Well, the other side can chase. That's what the other side is supposed to do. A home run, as you would call it. So good contribution so far from everybody. Nothing, not big contribution, but 155, a good score. This time that's played away, takes a single, smart batting, and it means on Morgan will have to do the bulk of the scoring, get them to 170. As I was talking, we look at terms like idols and role models. Well, I don't really disagree with giving people terms such as this. It doesn't work with me. As Rajput to Morgan takes a single, 2 point, ends the over, 19 gone, 6 for 157. As another ball in this over, this is already a very good over. 8 of this over for Calcutta so far. The final ball of this over. This time that's flicked away, and that will be a single. Nagar Koti to take the strike. 6 for 158. So the final 6 balls of this over. How many runs more they can get? That will be a very curious thing. Curiouser and curiouser we all get. Nearly, well, we are 14 minutes past cutoff time, but it doesn't look as if anybody seems to be worried. Is worried. So this will be the final over of tonight's commentary. So let's get excited. Tom Curran played away, single taken.
It's 21:15.
And it's 21:15. Nearly 105 minutes taken to complete an innings, and another 5 minutes. That's almost 2 hours. As Tom Curran to Owen Morgan. Morgan smashes it down the ground, but Steve Smith has pulled off a stunning bit of fielding effort almost nonchalantly and has saved 2 runs for his team. It was a full toss back over the bowler's head, but this is already a very good score. Can the other team chase it? We keep on asking this question. Just flicks it back with nonchalance. He knew it. This sometimes such balls the flick back they hit the elbow and they go into the boundary. So well done. 2 crucial runs saved. And these runs will make a huge difference at the end of the match. Morgan pulls this away and this has been deposited into the stands. Crucial runs for Morgan. The distance, the elevation, as I said, you get to 170. And my predictions once again turn out to be gold. Chasing just 8 to the over, it will be a tough chase. Short in the slot on his arc out of the park into that gutter region. The fourth ball, this time once again, smashed it down the ground. Once again, well fielded by Steve Smith. Good game of chess happening. Chess and checkers being played. Which team will finally have the last laugh? Will Rajasthan go to 6 points or will Calcutta get to 4 points? And you will have 3 or 4 teams cushioned at that 4 points mark. So 2 more balls to go. Couple of sixes and the score goes to 180 and Rajasthan might regret not getting Archer early. It could work both ways. It went those 14 runs from Archer will make a huge difference. Let's see what happens. Morgan already in his baseball stance. Wide, crucial wide. 170 comes up for Calcutta, and this is already a very good over. 11 of this over so far, and Calcutta are ahead. This time, once again, it has been called a wide, and they question the umpire's wisdom, but it was a close wide. Well, it was a close wide, but when you get it your way, two wides, crucial runs, anything can happen. Had he got the ball on the bat, I would have sped away to the boundary. So wides almost give you that extra two balls, but they also consume those extra 4 minutes. So two balls remaining. How many runs can Morgan get for his team? Once again, Morgan moves across, and the umpire says wide again. But this was a poor wide. This was a very poor wide. I do not think it's the right call. It's a close wide. Of course, the bowler has right in questioning the umpire as to why are you playing this game of chess with me. But umpires want a bit of an extent. They say, let's give it a wide. So three extra runs coming from no zero balls, in fact. So the fifth ball of the over finally. This time Morgan connects, and will they come back for two? They have no option. Smith at the boundary again, and two crucial runs taken. The final ball of the over, will it be 0 runs? Will it be 6 runs? Will it be a couple of runs? Let's see what happens as Tom Curran bowls to his national captain. And that's straight back to the fielder, bowler, no runs. So a good score by Calcutta. 20 overs gone, 6 for 174. Won't be easy for Rajasthan to chase, but we won't know what happens unless they chase. So that's the end of tonight's commentary. I'll be back tomorrow for some more fun. Good night.